Hello, everyone, and welcome to another season of the Angel of Words podcast. I am your host, Angel of Words. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel. You could also find us on all podcast platforms and below, down there in the description. If you want to know how to start a podcast and you want to find the things you need to do so, please click on our affiliate links below. We are not a partner of any of these companies, but if you need to purchase these products, they're available for you. Just click on the link. Now, today on the Angel of Words podcast, we have a very special episode. It's about the cannabis culture. And with us, we have El Ranchero. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm really glad that you're here today. I know that the cannabis culture is it's a very controversial topic out here in the world right now, especially in America, being one of the largest cash crops, and regulations and deregulations and so many things going on. My first question to you, sir, is what is the issue with the legal weed business?
I think that what a lot of people have, as far as an issue with the weed business is, a lot of the people aren't that have been in the business that have paid the price and gone to jail, been arrested, and had advanced the whole industry aren't being represented in the business. Um, and a lot of people have problems with that.
What do you mean by not being represented in the business?
Well, I mean, if you look at the ownership of the business out there, that you don't see a lot of people that have been arrested, or there's a lot of people that paid the price and paved the way for this to get there, and the people that are actually in the business now. Okay, I'm not saying all, but a greater percentage are basically stepping in and taking control of the whole industry that other people paved the way for.
So you're telling me that the people that have been growing for years, right, are not being priced out of the market essentially because of the big corporations coming into this situation now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I agree with that.
Wow, that's terrible. What are you guys doing to fix this? Are you collaborating with other farmers and things of that nature? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you stay alive? How do you stay afloat then if that's happening? Because that eats up every industry.
Well, what's happening is, we were talking about this is I'm from the West Coast, and a lot of the product out there from the legal business is being diverted into other states, whether people want to believe it or not. This was on the front page of the LA Times, and they're talking about the legal business, even the state. They know what a joke it is as far as how much product is being diverted. I mean,
What does that mean though? How much? Because I'm not, I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to this. You mean how much product is being diverted? What does that mean essentially?
well, let's say an easy number. If they were growing 100 pounds, it took 70 pounds and they took them to another state, and they left, because if you're getting taxed at 50%, average of like 45 to 50%,
On your revenue?
of the product you sell. I mean,
Okay.
what industry in this world is taxed at 50%?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? So, do you think any business could even survive, any person, if you're, taxed at 50%?
No.
And then you got to pay your own personal taxes on top of that.
Yes. No.
Right? I mean, so what's going on is, like, people are going to take maybe, like, 50, 75, 80, maybe 90, percent of their harvest, and they're going to take it somewhere else, and they're going to keep 10%, 20% and leave that within the state.
So essentially, it's still better to sell illegally.
Correct.
That's terrible. I mean, I thought this was supposed to fix the issue of things going out on the black market, but you're telling me now that a lot of farmers that are dealing in legal marijuana farming are not having to essentially continue to push their stuff out on the black market in order to try to make some kind of profit to continue harvesting these crops.
Correct.
How does that make you feel, man?
You
Come
know,
on, Ranchero, man. You're upset about this. I know. We had a conversation.
yeah.
Tell me how you feel, man. Because this is horrible.
No, it's crazy because, if you've spent all this time and energy and money to get through all the regulation, government coming after you, and really trying to put all these hurdles, and you don't have the amount of capital that big corporations have, right? Every harvest, everything, every dollar means something, right? And they know guys are going to go out of business with this model, right? But if it just gets down to the biggest corporations that have the money, they're like, okay, well, let them have it now, and push out all the small guys. It doesn't matter. They don't care for the state. They weren't getting this money anyway, so it's
And you
free
love
money.
what you do, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a lot of passion for this. This is something that, we've continued and advanced this whole industry from day
You
one.
said for 17 years or plus, right? You've been
Yeah,
in the industry.
correct.
Wow, that must be sad. And how come guys don't get together that know each other? I'm sure there's a network of you guys out there that can get together. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, theories. Obviously, I'm not a professional. I don't, I'm not an expert on this in any way. I'm just trying to get a understanding, a gauge of what's happening. So, my question would be is, if those things are happening, what stops you guys from becoming your own corporation?
Well, there's so many people in this industry, and it's not like it's not like a unified front or anything else like that. When you have a state out there that produces half the crop for the United States, or maybe and it's done that for that long, and now all of a sudden. These other states are coming on, and they gave out so many licenses. They're not giving out enough retail licenses, right? So it's like there's this feeding frenzy of how do we get rid of all our product, and this product that's coming from Oregon, Washington, California, it's flooding the whole United States. And I mean, whether the government looks at it, I don't think they're doing a good job at creating a system that's sustainable. I mean, when has the government ever been efficient at anything?
Well, that's the reason why corporations take over. They have all the money and the power because they don't want to give that money to the government because they're not efficient. That's just a huge problem. They have their ebbs and flows of efficiency, if you would. Now, I mean, that's terrible. That's obviously going to cause a crisis. It's going to basically downsize all you guys. You guys won't exist anymore. Is there any lobby being done? Is there anything being done right now to protect you guys? Like, how do you guys, stay afloat? Like, what's your game plan right now?
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, whether a lot of people don't really realize this, but a lot of the legal growers are taking their products out of state and they're not paying taxes on it. Okay, it's not like that we want to do that. We have to do that to survive. Otherwise, it's just it's a base, it's basic, simple math that when you go out of business, you don't have a choice.
That's depressing. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
Because you love this, man. And the thing is that you told me you're growing a quality product, and these people aren't growing quality products. That's another issue. What makes a quality product? What makes somebody a good farmer when it comes to this business?
I'll just attention to detail. I mean,
And what kind of details, if you don't mind me asking?
from environment to vapor pressure deficit to lighting to pH to like the amount of runoff, like what the strength is, the nutrients from week to week, what temperature the air is at, how much the fan, how much air circulation there is, what the humidity is, what the humidity is during the day, what the humidity is at night, how much, like I said, how much runoff. There's so many factors out there in order to do this, and it's not just set it and forget it, or it's the same thing every
Yeah.
week. Everything's always just like Mother Nature. Things are shifting. And when you grow indoors out there, things are shifting from week to week.
Yeah, you guys are like biologists.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of science involved.
Wow, that's amazing, man. I love that. I love, but that stuff costs money, man. Those are all you mentioned that you ran off a list of a bunch of things that you have to buy. You have to buy tools for. There has to be instruments in order to do that, and you need a team of people, I imagine, or you can't do this all by yourself if you're growing a large produce, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have approximately 25, 30 people, in order to do this, and we could have more. We're pretty lean and efficient, but it's one of those things out there that like until you get to a certain inertia, you get over a certain hump, you start making pretty good money. But as long as you have the government trying to really increase taxes. They're not encouraging us to be legal when we are legal. They're really
Yeah.
not, you know?
Yeah. That's terrible, man, because you're supposed to encourage small business. That's supposed to be the beacon of living in America, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what we all strive for. That's what we're all here. Wow, that's interesting. Now Mr. Ranchero, excuse me. I want to know, like, in terms of like your staff, like, you have to pay them. Like,
Yeah.
how hard is it to keep good staff? Because yeah, I figure
Oh,
the better the staff, the better the produce that comes out of that,
yeah,
right?
I mean, nowadays in this time in COVID out there, it's been a disaster, you know. So I mean, just trying to, I mean, you have your main support people, you know, your management, but it's to hire people that really want to be in the industry and that sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not easy in COVID. Definitely, you know, it's a difficult task.
Now, what kind of are you growing variety of strains in the situ? How does that work, man? I mean, that science is crazy. It's like you pollinate women with women, or like because I hear. I mean, I don't know too much,
Oh
but
yeah, the people that breed, we're
yeah,
not we're
you're not
not
breeding.
no,
You're
we're
just
not
growing.
breeding. We're
You
just
okay?
growing.
So
Yeah.
how does that work? Okay, so what does that mean? You're just growing.
Well, we take plants. We have mother plants, and we'll cut on them to make clones, and we'll put them into veg, and then they go into bloom, and you know, and then we cut, cure, and dry.
Okay, and but it's different strains,
Correct.
correct? Now, is do you so you don't deal with CBD or none of that stuff?
No, no.
Okay, good. Now, when it comes to dispensaries, do you have access to dispensaries? Like, how does that work when it comes to farmers?
Well, you know, in all the states out there have different rules, and that it's pretty crazy out there. You know, like you know, the states and government, they're gonna make decide what's best for their state, right? I mean, it's almost like gun laws in the United States. It doesn't make sense from one state to another.
Yeah.
You know, it's completely different. And for marijuana out there, every state's got its own regulations.
Okay, so you have to make sure that you just hitting on the regulations with the. What's the easiest state to deal with right now? Do you think?
You know, yeah, I wouldn't be. I don't think I'm the right person to answer that. I
Okay,
got my opinions on certain
okay,
things out
okay.
there, but yeah, I just don't think it's you know one way or another out there. There's one easiest place to go. You know, well, I'll say this in Oklahoma, but you know they're thinking about going. I think they're going recreational soon. Hey, you know that place out there. Everyone and their brother went to that state and started growing. No one cared. There were very lack. There was a lack of rules, and everybody in the world. It was a free for all.
Really, it was like the wild, wild
Oh
west,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. Everybody. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody's growing in Oklahoma.
yeah.
God, so everybody just started. That must be crazy, man. Because you have the upstart, small business farmers, right? Then you have the corporations trying to shrink you guys out. It's like so
A
crazy,
lot
man.
of chaos, and then
Yeah, it's a
people
lot
that
of
and
chaos.
people that have no idea or whatever. They all went to Oklahoma, grew, and they kept some of it there, and the rest of it went all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So what do you do to get to access to worldly, to people across the world that deal in legal sales?
You know, this a lot of this industry just comes down to who you know, what relationships you can cultivate,
Yeah.
and you know, and you can figure out for yourself and who's safe to work with.
So I mean, is there times where you're just sitting on product, man, and you just really like, and it's hard to move, and then it
Oh
goes
yeah,
bad?
yeah, yeah. In the fall, in the fall out there, you have you know what they call croptober, all the outdoor hits, and you know for the next you know till like January, February, it's really hard on the indoor guys. The greenhouse guys come and at the same you know they'll harvest two, sometimes three times a year, and they put a lot of pressure on the market, right? So you know, for those of the people here in the Northeast, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of outdoor or greenhouse or you know how they're going to you know or if it's all going to be indoor. I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
But it's a very seasonal business on the West Coast, you know, and it puts pressure on the entire industry, you know, and that's things people have to think about. You know, one thing about here is like, look, a lot of people want the product and they want it, you know, but you know, they you know, like no, all the product that's coming, and I wouldn't say all. Well, okay, the majority of the product that's coming here is not from this state.
I highly doubt it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't really, I don't really think. I know they call Jersey the Garden State, but I've never seen
Yeah,
like
yeah,
weed plants over
yeah,
there. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? That's great. Wow, man. And from what I hear, from people in the cannabis culture that I know out here in New York, it's hard to get good product. Number one, they go dry. Number two, which means that there's no product available, and the product isn't any good. Really, the only thing that I've known that is accessible is sour diesel, but there's like no other really strands that people can get. So let's say you're someone, and I guess there's a situation here in New York where there is kind of some kind of legality. Like, would it be hard for you to get produce to people that are looking to get into the cannabis industry?
The thing about that is like, everyone wants to know someone, and because of the laws, and like we're in a cash business. It's kind of difficult to meet people where it's somewhat organic, and everyone feels safe, and um what they had in California out there was a lot of the medical marijuana shops out there. You got to meet a lot of people there, and there were safe places because they had security guards. You didn't have to worry about getting robbed, or that sort of thing,
Getting
right?
ripped off and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to bring someone to their house and they don't know
Of
somebody, and
course not.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
man. That's
yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah,
dangerous,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of money being passed around. So it's a lot. You have to, to make in this industry, you have to have a lot of, a lot of skills out there. You got to be able to, one, if you're a grower, you got to be able to grow the stuff. But then that's only half, not even half the job. You got to get rid of the stuff, and you got to figure out
Yeah.
who to move it with, and where you can be safe, and you know be able to pay all your people and keep going, because it's very cash intensive business, more than what most people realize. And in California, Oregon, and Washington, I mean, it's like the vast majority of the growers have gone out of business. Vast majority.
Well, I guess that's why the government wants to tax you guys, because they think you're making more money than you're probably claiming because of the cash aspect. Wow, that's terrible, man, because it's really not as good as they really think it is. Wow. What makes you a good farmer, man? What makes you personally what makes you the best at what you do, man? Because I want you to let the world know why you care about this so much and what makes you the best.
I don't want to sit there and claim the best out there.
Well, anytime you're on the Angel of Words
Yeah,
podcast, baby,
yeah,
you're the best.
yeah, yeah.
By the way, we're sponsored by OTW Threads. Don't forget to click the links in the bio, baby. Take a look, start your podcast. But yeah, no, what makes you the best? El Ranchero, my friend over here. The alias.
No, I mean, when you put enough time, energy, and you put the care into something where people, it's the stickiest, gooeyest, tastiest, most smelling bud out there, and people have to have it, and they want to come back for it. And the street speaks for itself. When people, you go eat good food, people line up, you got something good going. Like I've had some great pizza today from some of the best pizza places in Jersey. I was at Pizza Bowl. You get and you get to see who's good. Same thing with food out here in New York. Say, they got great pizza out here, and some places out there got lines around the block. That's what you know.
You must have had a good time eating pizza out here in NY, man, because out there on the West Coast, ooh, finding good pizza,
Yeah.
unless you're getting it from those places that are importing New York water, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, Prince Street Pizza does that. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, when it comes to like hiring practices in the farming situation, like, are you hiring, American employees?
You know what? Actually, I'll be honest about that. I prefer to hire, as far as like, for we have a good connection out there. Like I hire workers from Sinaloa, like different parts of Mexico out there, because we have a Hispanic friend out there that's been with us a long time, and he has his friends, so we hire them.
Wow. Okay. They're not for nothing that they've always been a fabric of the agricultural world
Yeah, yeah,
on the West Coast. So
yeah.
that's just probably that something that just runs the bloodline over Wow, man. So it's hard to stay afloat and things are going bad. And, in terms of like the delivery system, right? Are you doing a lot of stuff, with trucks? Are you trucking things? Are you sending things via airplane? Like, how does this work?
I mean, there's a multiple amount of ways that people in the legal industry out there, you could ask the law enforcement. They know it comes by plane and suitcases.
Yeah.
It gets trucked out, comes to the mail, um, UPS, FedEx, DHL, USPS, all of them. I mean, every which way it is, it's getting all over the country.
How is it dealing with law enforcement and legal marijuana? Because it's like, I don't know if they personally transitioned into feeling that it's legal. You know what I'm saying? Like the laws, a lot of laws may have changed, but they may still look at it like, with that kind of like negative eye.
There was two things that happened in the last couple weeks. They had the DEA actually pulled over a truck over in Missouri, and they got them with like 600,000-700,000 in cash. And there was another state where the same thing happened. It happened again, right? And the DEA knew this was all legal money, but they went and seized it. I mean, you can look this up on Google and see the news. They went seized trucks, armored trucks that are taking legal people's money and just taking it. So you can see the kind of animosity that the cannabis community.
That's called corruption.
Yeah. The cannabis community has for
all
law
the respect to the
enforcement.
DEA, but you're not supposed to take a legal industry's profits, without any any probable cause. We know that.
And then they got to get their lawyers, and it might take 6 months to a year for them to get their money back.
God, that's got to be annoying because you also have to have lawyers on deck to help protect.
Oh
you,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So you got the overlying cost, the overlying governmental costs. You have the cost of production, the overhead there. Then you have these situations that happen, with illegal searches and seizures. Like, what makes you want to stay in this business? El Ranchero, you got to tell me, man. You got to tell me.
I'll be honest out there. Like, once you get a taste of when things are working well, but that to climb that mountain, to get all the way to the top. I mean, for a football player, they live their whole career to the one day they might play in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And same for baseball, they live their whole career so they can play in the World Series. For us out there, when things are really working well, it's, I always had this saying out there, and I remember a guy out there that was a grower that told me this story. Every 9 weeks, your life can change. Okay. That's for most guys that grow, say, Kushes out there that they're a 9-week strain when it's in flower. Now it's longer than that.
You said Kushes?
Yeah, Kushes.
What is that? Like I hear that word a lot.
Kush is like it's a type of marijuana.
People love that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
they love it.
I mean?
Yeah, on the West Coast.
Why they love Kush so much? What makes Kush so special?
I mean, just
man?
the smell, the taste, how it burns.
All weed makes me paranoid. That's why I'm never gonna try it again.
Okay. Maybe you need the edibles or the vape pens out there.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people say that. They always tell me, "Oh, try a sativa." I'm like, what difference does it make? It still makes me feel the same way. It's so crazy.
Nah,
but the Kush is the thing. Huh?
Yeah, Kush is definitely the thing. Wow. But going back to you live for that high when everything is working right, and it's one of those things. For a lot of growers, they never get there. It's like there's that 1-2%, but if you can overcome all this energy and everything else, maybe 2 to 2.5 years into it, maybe 3, right? It can be an avalanche of money. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. But you have to have every little detail, the team, the money, the sales, the customer, backup money, all, everything all has to be aligned, and then it works. And a lot of people, they don't know that, right? And I see more unhappy people growing than you could ever imagine, right?
Yeah.
But the happy, when it's happy, I can't even explain. I can't even explain the euphoria.
Okay, so you've been at that point where you felt that euphoria,
Yeah,
and that people are trying to take it away from you.
yeah, because you got to fight that, and it's like it could be the law, it could be, multiple factors.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know it was like the Super Bowl, man, which is going to be on the West Coast, everybody. Check
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out
oh,
next
yeah.
week
We're all
Sunday.
everyone's excited about that. Yeah. Who are you rooting for?
I'm actually rooting for the Bengals, man. I want to see them win.
Okay.
I remember they lost a couple Super Bowls in the past.
Yeah.
I like Boomer Esiason. He's a New York
Icky
area
Woods.
guy. Yeah, so I'm really, hoping for them to pull it off. But I hope for them to pull it off. But my money, because I like to gamble, it's on the Rams.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid.
Mattress Mac put $4.5 million on the Bengals. You know that? Yeah, he hasn't been wrong too often.
Really?
Yeah. You should look that up.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna look that up. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
He's got a good record.
No, he does. He's fantastic.
Yeah. He took him straight up money line plus
You
170.
took the money line?
Yeah, not even the points. He took them straight up.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's only plus 170. That's low.
Yeah.
I thought it would be higher than that.
That's what he got. That's what it said on the.
Oh, okay. He probably got higher than that. I think it's at plus 250 now. Last I checked.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Wow, El Ranchero, man. Wow. So you ever, is Super Bowl a busy time of year for?
No.
I
mean, we're just hoping we're in February. Once we get into March, all the greenhouse goes away, and all the outdoor, all that stuff moves out, and where the indoor guys become more of a factor in the industry. Even though we run year round, we have harvest. We got to deal with the ebb and flow of the whole industry.
Copy. So you're telling me now that the corporation's only growing within a certain time.
No, well, when you say the industry out there, it's like, you have different. Some people are greenhouse people. Some people are indoor guys. Some people are outdoor guys.
Greenhouse means you're growing indoors. What does that mean?
Well, no, you're in a structure where the light comes
like
in.
a greenhouse. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's people that grow like that, and there's people that grow outdoors, essentially using nature at its best.
Yeah.
What do you think is better? What's the better? What's the most profitable way to grow? And then which one do you prefer more?
I don't grow in a greenhouse, but I've heard mixed lights in a greenhouse is pretty profitable once you have all your infrastructure set up. It's not cheap to do that either, at least properly. Some guys can do it real hillbilly style, but it depends what you put into it. If you want something out there that knocks people's socks off, everything costs money. You're throwing money and more money on top of money, and you're like, oh my God, what did we do wrong now, or this or that? We're losing. You have to deal with losing for a long time out there. It's almost like, how could you put this out there? Growing out there sometimes feel like you're the Cleveland Browns. Like, are we ever going to get there?
That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of frustration. But then when you get better and things like, of course, you got to sit there and problem solve and figure things out. And then when you're starting to win games, and then you have a winning season, you're like, oh, okay, things are working.
Wow. Okay, what are the most potent strains grown outdoors, indoors? Like, does it even matter?
That's a good question out there. And, science, I don't believe in a lot of the testing out there is, to me, in my opinion, is inconclusive, because you can get different results. I've seen this from one lab to another. So myself personally, I'm not a big fan of all the testing. I like it they can see if the pesticides and heavy metals, but actual real results like THC or what it has in there, I don't believe the standards are there. But I'm not a scientist. I don't know that for sure. But just what I've seen with my own eyes.
Now, I want to ask you a question, and I hope you don't think it's a dumb one. But, I grew up in Harlem, and there was always a myth growing up that the best weed was pissed on by, dogs.
I've never
that's some New York stuff, man. And my New Yorkers know exactly what I'm talking about. You grew up in any of the major urban communities here in New York. You always hear they mix it with gunpowder, they piss on it, or the sour diesel smells this way because they urinate on the bag outside. They put it in a big bag, it comes in a bag, but they piss on the outside to give it like that stench. I'm like, bro, this is crazy, and you guys are still smoking this shit. Like,
Oh
this is what?
God.
No, in New York, they will tell you some fantasies, man. That's what they used to say about haze. What happened to haze, man? Purple haze and stuff like that, man.
A lot.
That used to be real popular when
Yeah,
I was growing up.
really popular. A lot of that, came from Europe, and
Okay.
from what I know, I mean that is a little bit before my time, even. But as far as yeah, it was really popular.
Well, that's good to know. You guys aren't pissing on the marijuana. Nothing erroneous
No,
going on behind the
no,
scenes in the farm.
no.
All right, that's good to know, man. That's good to know. Now, you know, do you have an issue? Like, it's easier for you to get to the English speaking population or the Spanish speaking population? It doesn't really matter. Does that does that play any role at all in trying to move produce?
You know, you know the the problem with, I think, like a lot of this industry is like, you can almost see it even happening in the NFL now. They're talking about a lot of discrimination, and a lot of people out there of color don't get their chance, and that sort of thing. you know the people I work with, I think we're probably one of the most diverse companies that I know of any companies out there. But still, like, you're gonna work with people generally, because you're smaller companies, people, like, I don't have, like, we have one black guy that's a partner. I don't have like eight, but I have one. I have a couple Hispanic guys that I've known for almost my whole career, and I can trust them with my life with stuff out there. But some of those guys, like, they might be good on the labor side of it, but not the marketing, or just different. Everyone has their own talents out there, and I don't discriminate or anything else. And but the thing is like, for myself, is like, I try to put, like, for someone like yourself out there, you're not a grower, but you're a great media personality out there.
Wow.
You're a good storyteller. I don't think
Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
I don't know if
You're
you'd be
so sweet, El Ranchero.
yeah, I don't know
You're
if
gonna
you
make me blush,
yeah,
man.
I don't know if you'd be the guy out there we'd put in charge of the grow.
Yo, you West
you could
Coast
do
guys
it.
are silver tongue, man. We
Yeah,
gotta watch it with
yeah,
you,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's oh God, there was something on my mind that I wanted to. When when it comes to female male ratio, like, like, do you deal with, are females included in this
In the industry.
yeah, in the
Yeah,
industry,
I
yeah.
mean, back in the day when we were medical. I mean, medical marijuana back in the day in California and Oregon and Washington was, you had a hall pass. If you get caught, hey, here's my piece of paper. Give it to your attorney. Get me out of all this, right?
Yeah.
But so really, it was a little bit different out there, because you know, I'm not sitting there saying women couldn't do the job, but I don't know a lot of them that would give up their lives, live at a grow, and basically, that was your life and everything. That's what you sacrificed and give up. Okay. And knowing that you could get robbed, shot, killed, any of that, I don't, I'm not sitting there saying they do the actual job? Yes. Okay. But put under conditions out there that, like, you could sit there and say, like, war, men and women go to war nowadays, right? But how many women are saying, "Hey, I'm willing to go do that"? I'm not sitting there saying they can't, but that's more men out there generally, in cultures out there, like, they're willing to die for their stuff out there to get themselves ahead. A lot of the guys out there, like, men are expected to go toil, just to use a word, to go figure out how to
Yeah, no,
advance.
to bend the environment in order to create things for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Lot of when you go into a restaurant and you ever see the guys in the back, and they're making and they're cooking and
Yeah,
everything. These
they're
guys are,
prepping,
and but and it all, when it comes back, it's put on a plate, and there's always this good-looking girl that comes and ta-da, you know? But the guy in the back out there, he's killing himself to do all this, and someone just comes and here you go, right? You know, I mean, it's like, you know, like a lot of people that they don't understand. You know, it's like when we do this, and you know what you got, the amount of knowledge that had to be acquired, what you had to go through, you know, to fight to be, and you know, like I would say this out there, growing is a lot like if you had open heart, if you had to practice open heart surgery and you screw one up, you got to wait another 9 weeks to get to that exact point. Okay, now this time I won't mess it up. I got to do this part right, right? So it's not like you get a do-over and we'll do it tomorrow better tomorrow, right? You got to wait a whole other run and put your monies on the line, everything else. And if you screwed up again, you're like, oh my God, you know, and then you got to wait all this other time. So it's like, you know, you're dealing with something living. It can die. It affects the quality, your money, everything. A lot of pressure.
I like this pressure.
You know, some people like, you know, thrive on it, you know, but you know,
you need this pressure.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you? Did you mess up too?
Oh, yeah. I've been through it. Anyone out there that like I tell people this out there, anyone out there that has never failed in life, you know, flat and just messed up and like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. What the fuck? You know, you really haven't done much in your life out there, because if you want great things, big things, you got to be willing to fail. And, you know, you're going to learn from your biggest failures. And it's a hard thing to do. If you want a safe route, you know, go buy bonds or, be the guy that takes money at the toll booth. Okay. Not a whole lot of risk to it. You know, when you're doing something out there that you got law, there's all this coming at us. Yeah. I mean, you know, like, you know, the kind of money that's in this out there, like, you know, like that's a whole nother thing. I tell crazy stories of what I've seen, and, you know, it's how big it is now. Now it's not cocaine cowboys, you know, nothing like that, you know, but it's pretty
Willie
big.
Falcone stuff. You guys aren't running race car teams.
No, we're not. We're not. Oh, you know what?
I miss those days.
No. I do know some guys that are living pretty large. I do. Like unreal. Like, you know, I don't know quite that level, but they're doing all right. Yeah.
Is it feasible for a person that wants to get into growing to ever attain that level without being in the corporate world? You know, with the corporate growing.
I mean, for guys out there, if you have your own money, family money, or people that believe in you, you can do it, right? Yeah, but then you got to have the team, you know. It's at scale, and then you have to have the money, you got to have the team, and then you have to have the sales outlet. You got to put it all together, you know. And each one of them are completely independent of each other, right? And require different skills, you know? So it's like you learn different facets and how to get better at each one of them, you know? And it's all stuff that comes through time, you know, effort.
What made you want to get into this business, man? When did you start this? Like, what spurred you to get into this?
Well, you know, real estate crashed in, like, I think it was like what, 2000?
Oh, the housing bubble.
Yeah, the housing bubble.
Were you a part of that mess? Were you selling subprime mortgages, man?
No. I had the rental properties out and land.
Cool.
You know, that's where I lost.
All right. Oh man, and then so after that, what happened?
I had to figure something else out to do. I mean, you know, at that time.
So what was the aha moment, man? Tell us, like, you know,
well,
like,
what
made you passionate?
I was at Barnes and Noble. Okay.
Wow, that still exists.
Yeah. You know, this was back in that
place. Used to buy books there.
Yeah. So I'm at the magazine rack, and you know, I see there. It was actually the New Yorker magazine, you know, and they're on the cover. It says, "Are the best and brightest." We're leaving Wall Street at that time, and they were coming to California. I'm like, leaving Wall Street to go to California? What is this all about? So I, grab the magazine and I start reading it, right? and it talks about the whole marijuana industry in California.
This you said this was in the New Yorker magazine?
Yeah, New Yorker
Okay,
magazine,
great
right?
magazine, by the way. I always recommend people read it for
Yeah.
sure.
So instantly, what I did, because I had a background in I used to be a stockbroker in telecom, and we used to cold call and sell a lot, door to door, to on the phone, to everything,
So
right?
did you go to school for this, for the brokering stuff?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is it
No, I mean,
certification type stuff?
yeah. After I graduated from college, I just had,
Copy.
I had what, 4 or 5 years of corporate America, and then I was done,
Okay.
right? But enough to figure out that you had good training, and it helped the whole sales side, of my career, right? I cold called a lot of dispensaries in California, and what's going on out there? What do you do? How's it? And I probably called 100 people. Maybe like 3 or 4 would talk to me. Everyone else is like, we can't help you. We got to go. And so a girl out there, and she was from Cushism at the time, in I believe it was like San Fernando Valley. She told me about what was going on in the California industry, how it all worked, but you got to come see it. So I drove out there, went and looked at it, saw the whole industry.
In
and
the
I got-
Valley of San Fernando
Yeah,
Valley?
yeah.
Oh man, I used to stay out there.
Yeah.
Ventura.
Yeah. So I had to go see it I went and saw it all for myself, and I just saw this huge industry going on, and I was like, this is going to be the next big thing, right? And so I sold.
What was this? 01? Was 02? 2002?
No,
You said 2010. You said after the housing, so I was like 2010, right?
Yeah. No.
2010-ish?
I was in the business out there 2004, 05, somewhere right around there. Where all the housing was starting to take a dump and everything, and I was gone. That's when I got in.
So then you're in San Fernando Valley, and what happened? This girl, she's showing you the rope.
No, yeah, she's just explaining what's going on in the industry, and I went and saw it, and I was like, wow, so this is really this whole secretive underground world that, that it's really real. These stores exist, but even the cops back then, they know they exist. They got to leave it alone, but every now and then they'd go rattle the cages and go arrest people, arrest vendors, and then like, well, okay, we got to let it keep going. And you had the whole pass. We'll let it exist, And you kind of see what I see what's going on here in like Jersey or New York. I don't think the government has any idea, what the hell they're doing. They think they know what they're doing, right? But their main job is, well, let's stay in power and let's get paid and kick the can down the road, and we'll kind of figure this out as we go.
Wow. So then when did you start growing?
I went up to British Columbia.
Okay, that's in Canada, right?
Canada,
Yeah.
right? And that have you ever seen the television show Breaking Bad?
I love Breaking Bad. Are you kidding me, man?
Okay.
Maybe you want to start learning how to make crystal meth. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
No.
Science, bitch.
What they had in that show.
Were you teaching or something?
No,
I'm joking.
no.
You wouldn't suck it.
What they had in that show is like,
Yeah.
I went and worked for these growers in British Columbia, illegal guys worked in a warehouse. And the deal was I got to work. I said I would work for free for these guys, but I want one tray for myself, my own little tray, a 4x8 tray of plants. And those were my plants. Whatever I sold for them, I bought the trays, I bought the newts, I bought the lights. I got to do that, right? So when I mess anything up, and I could ask them questions, but everything else out there throughout the whole day, I was basically the bitch. They want me to do anything. I did it. I did it for a whole year just to be around it, right? I didn't get paid anything, because if you want to go get big opportunities in this world, you want to learn, no one's going to just give it to you. You got to go out there and sacrifice, right? So for a whole year, I didn't get paid anything, but what I got to do is ask questions and fuck shit up, right? And just because, and you're around people that could, actually answer the questions now. Were they the best teachers? Did they really? Not really. To be honest with you, I learned more after I got out of there, but I had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
I had, and nobody's going to just take you in this world.
No. I mean, like you said, it was that kind of underground, but you needed a base. You needed a foundation.
Yeah.
So did you take your plants with you somewhere else? Like when did you purchase land to start producing?
Oh, after I was done there, then, I moved back to Arizona. Arizona was like, I did a couple runs there, but I realized, like, look, if I get in trouble here, I'm going to go to jail for a long time. And that's where I started cold calling the whole California thing. And they told me what's going on. I'm like, oh, I got to shut this down, pack up, and move to California. This is it. And that's where my whole journey started. It's like the journey of, like, becoming a better grower.
Okay. So I mean, so okay. So you moved to California. What did you buy like a piece of land? Did you like how did that start?
No, we went and rented homes out there,
Okay.
right? Because I didn't have a whole lot of money, and we rented homes with, basements or extra bedrooms, and we rented the whole house, and I grew out of there. I grew out of there. I grew out of some small commercial properties. One of my grows was actually across the street from the police department. I mean, I thought, it's across the street. I
Better
was
to hide
like,
in plain
"There's
sight,
yeah, hide right in plain sight. They're not going to think anything. I mean, because you smell weed everywhere in California,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it was across the street. There's enough wind and trees. I was like, I'll be fine. That place lasted the whole time. I never had a problem with it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you just started bubbling up until eventually you got to a point where things started to get better, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I had my ups and downs out there because I saved all my money. I got an investor. We went into a warehouse, but I actually got raided by the DEA. They had the helicopters and dogs come chase me at one point. My crew got away. Um, we went through two grows out there where we only had, I think, 2 or 3 runs a piece, and then we had to shut it down because we had a place where I had a bad partner at a dispensary who rat me out. He knew where my place was, so we got out of there. Then the next place, they like my landlord, he basically hid for me and said that he just basically said he didn't know where I was. When the cops were looking for me, but he did know. And so they were looking for me. And, I mean, eventually, that one, we had 3 runs and they came and, that's when they came with the dogs and the helicopter and everything. And I had to shut it down. I mean, I lost in the period about like 8 months out there. I probably lost close to, I don't know. I mean, I had about $1 million into that, right? Into each one. But the amount of capital I had was like, maybe 400,000 or 500,000. So I had maybe like 300, like I started with 500 and then I had to break it down. I got my 500 back. Then I did another, we ran again. I started with 500 and this time I only had like 250 or 3. I only had half my money back. Right. So what we call that is I ran packs. I was buying weed, by the 100 pack up in Northern California, bringing it down to Southern California. Back then there was an easy $400 to $500 spread. I kept building up my money till I could run my grow again, right? And this was a year and a half I had to wait, before I could run it again. And when you have your team out there, like imagine like like the Rams or the Bengals, like right now that whole power structure, they want to keep their team together, right? They do anything to keep their team together because this is what got them there, right? That's what they got confidence in. If I didn't back then, you could only trust so many people. You had your nucleus of 5 to 7 guys that all of us knew that we all had each other's backs no matter what, because look, guys are trying to rob, kill, everything, right? So we couldn't tell anybody. You have to have good trades. You have to have a guy that's like the best. Growing out there, you have to have people that know how to put together really good power out there. That have a high level of competence in electricity, high level of competence in plumbing, a lot of water that's moving around, and that has to be properly pressured. Along with the power of the lighting out there, really intense lighting. So you're combining a lot of trades, that you have to have, and you have to have skills, because when you're illegal / medical, where they're like, just don't get caught. A lot of people don't understand. You couldn't just go pick up the yellow pages and just go call somebody, come out here and say, hey, we're growing weed here. We fix this.
There's
People,
not really a way to turn around.
yeah. I mean, you're going and you got to be able to fix your own shit,
Wow.
and this is like, kind of what paved this whole industry for a lot of people. Is a lot of people just don't understand, like, the amount of upset and just ups and downs. And, people you can really count on when you're living in these places. Just people don't understand that.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
God. Wow. Right now, we're being blessed to have knowledge here from El Ranchero visiting us from the West Coast. Man, how do you deal with that level of betrayal, man?
You know, yeah.
Jesus, like you got some mother freaking fortitude, brother, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm at the the pinnacle of my career, and I think I got like 10 years left in the business, 5, 10 years left. And I want to go out on top. This is what this is what my whole career has basically culminated to. You know, this market is really live and crazy big out here, right? And there's people that they only know parts of the game. Okay, when you have people that really understand like a lot of different facets and have and have a team out there that can get through this. And for me, I believe in backing myself. I don't do anything out there unless my own money is involved. I don't want to do something out there where it's a handout, or I don't like taking. I don't, for myself, I don't like taking a lot of outside capital because I don't like being told what to do. I like, when it comes to whacking up the money out there and everything else, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Of course you have to take some, but I always do it minimally, because I want to have the absolutely the most in out there. Because, I want to, I'll feel the higher highs and the lower lows.
You have any proteges?
The guys that work with me, they all know everyone I have. They all know a part of the business. I don't, for someone like myself that had to live it all and do it all, it's a little bit crazy. I wouldn't wish my life on anybody, but I really wouldn't. But like myself, like I've had some real crazy highs, stuff out there that
What's the most money you've ever made in one season?
I don't know. Maybe $1.5 million.
Nice. That's a nice high.
Yeah.
That'll make me euphoric.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
I mean, now I'm gonna, I know I can make like $400 to $500 grand a month. I pushed this far to get to that point, and we've got another side of the facility. Can I make 7 figures a month? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I like, hey man, I love the ambition,
Yeah.
Ambition without knowledge is like a boat on dry land. You heard that before?
And there's a lot of people have pie in the sky numbers. The difference is we've actually gone through this and we're running.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that they don't know, they haven't gotten that far. They don't know what it takes that far.
They don't know what it takes.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, someone like, you talk to a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or a Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford, they know what it takes to get that far. And they know, like for someone, especially like, like a Matt Stafford, he waited his whole career.
11 seasons.
Joe Burrow,
man.
yeah, that's great for him. 2 seasons. He's there. He's like, oh, wow, I can do this again.
Some people just got it.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
That's what it is.
The right circumstances,
yeah, exactly.
Right? But, like with us out there, it's a lot of work just to, to get to that point where things are all the way there. And a lot of, like sometimes these setbacks are unrecoverable. Like I've been there. I've watched it all crumble and you're just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Where do I go? And you got to figure it out. That's the thing. It's like, okay, who do we know? What do we know? What problem do we have? How can we fix things? Wow. A lot of just problem solving out there. That's, the thing about a lot of people, there's, besides the mechanical, there's all our industry is kind of simple. If you have a product out there that's good, now it's just find people that want it. If they want it out there, you got the money to take care of yourself. That's not hard, Just got to find the people that want
that
it.
process you just told me though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think if I have it, man. I think you have you're one of the men that I've met with the most fortitude of life, man. Like God bless you, El Ranchero. Everyone, the Angel of Words podcast is brought to you by Out of This World Threads, reminding you to be out of this world. Don't forget that right down below, there's everything you need to know about this episode, plus all the links you need to start your own podcast and get going on your own. And now, without further ado, we have reached the point in the podcast, El Ranchero, where it's time to play 5 words. with Angel. All right, now 5 words with Angel. I'm going to ask you a word, phrase, or a question. You're going to give me the first thought that comes to your head, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Sure.
All right, the first word is, what do you think about when you think about cannabis?
Sticky green.
Sticky green. That sticky, icky, man. Wow. You love it, man? You love it? You love that plant?
Yeah.
You do? Do you ever look at that plant, take a nice whiff, and be like, man, I love it?
No, I do.
You do? I would imagine. Yeah.
It is very, very.
I look at my microphone sometimes. I'm please, baby, don't ever go wrong on me. You know.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah, it is, right? I hear you, man. Hey, whatever sensors you is a good thing. You know?
Yeah.
All right. The second word on 5 words with Angel is, what do you think about these corporations? The word is corporations.
I could say that it's. I can see the necessary evil, but society needs it almost to advance, but when is society ever fair? I don't know.
Society is not meant to be fair. All right, the third word is what do you think about when you think about CBD?
I don't know enough about it.
All right, cool. Now the fourth word is, what do you think about when you think about New York's favorite strain, Sour D, also known as sour diesel?
Pain in the ass to trim.
Really? Why is that?
It's just the way it grows. It's not,
yeah, how does it grow? Tell me. I don't know. I'm never gonna see it.
Very, when it's finished, it's very finicky.
Really, it's finicky. How? Like, what
just
does that mean?
I mean, if you were making like I don't know, like a complicated car, some of them are just more. It takes more to work on.
Copy.
All same
right.
thing.
Right.
That one's not an easy one to work on.
Is it a good strain? Would you recommend that to people?
Yeah. I mean, I liked growing it. I did.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
And people liked it out here. So we're thinking about bringing it back.
I think you should bring it back. Go for it. Now, the fifth and final word is a phrase. It's, what do you think about when you think about the future of weeds? 10, 20 years from now, what do you think about? What crosses your head?
Oh, God. Hopefully I'm done.
There you have it. That was 5 words with Angel, sponsored by Out of This World Threads. Don't forget to click the links below. Now, is there a message that you would give anyone that is trying to become a grower or any grower right now? Send a message if you can. If you want to look in there, send a message. If not, you let me know. But, if you have any advice for anyone that wants to get in this business, it's your time.
It's something out there that it's really endearing out there, because I don't know if a lot of people are really prepared for it, and you're told a lot. You have to have, so many different skill sets that you're going to have that, for myself, a lot of other parts of my life, I could draw on that have helped me through this whole process. And I just hope you're pretty well-rounded. You're intelligent, you're focused, and you can work with a team, and you're capitalized, and you know how you know who to work with and who you can count on. That's a lot of things you got to think about out there. It's very hard to take a team out there and start and finish something, and then stay with it when things are not working well out there, because I talked about the higher highs out there. When you do that and the highs get that high, and it like the euphoria you feel, it's all earned. There's nothing given in this business. Agriculture is not an easy industry.
All right. Now, for the people out there that may have questions for you, is there any way to contact?
I don't know. I mean, how would you?
We could talk about that after. Guys, just, when you watch this episode, pay attention. You could always, my information is out there. And if we can get you some information, we will definitely do so, and that's it. Ranchero, AKA visiting us. Thank you for joining us here on the Angel of Words podcast and dropping that cannabis culture knowledge, that cannabis life knowledge, and sharing your passion about what you love with us, man. We really appreciate you being here with us. Everyone, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are available on all podcast platforms. Do not forget, cop the merch, visit the website, get engaged with the blog. We already have a blog up there on how to purchase marijuana out here in New York City, and we'll be coming out with a lot more blogs. So just, stick with us. AOWENT is .com is the website. If you want to start your own podcast and you want relative affiliate links to these episodes, don't forget to look down in the description, and we will have some things there that are catered to what we've done here today. God bless you all. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.